So Washington played Texas. I had Texas going and getting the win in this game. Washington prevails 37-31. I will say both of these games were very similar to last year, where they were nail biters.
They're the polar opposites. Where the first game there was no offense.
Right.
Second game, it's all that was. And I mean, dude, Michael Penix, that's a dude right there.
Yeah, he was. You know, a lot of people making the case that he should have won the Heisman. Obviously, numbers wise, you know,
I think that's
Daniels
recency bias because Jane Daniels didn't even play in his bowl game,
right?
And then Michael Penix goes out and I mean, just kind of has his way with Texas in the first half. I mean, mostly throughout the entire game, but he started out hot.
Yeah, and look, sometimes you know, and it's kind of the same thing with the NFL MVP race and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a recency thing for people's opinion. It's also like a quarterback like Michael Penix might not have these crazy numbers just because of the talent around him and maybe the run game that they have.
Yeah.
Versus where, you know, Jalen Daniels, he's expected to just do it all.
Yeah.
And not quite as much talent around him. So it's kind of a catch-22 on that. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a guy that could have won the Heisman on your team, especially when you are a team in the playoffs.
And we said when kind of discussing the Heisman Trophy, and then after Jaden Daniels won, you could have made a case for everybody on that podium except Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
he should have never been on there. That's a different story. But yeah, between Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Jaden Daniels, I mean, honestly, you could have made a case for either three of them.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, with this game being so late, I didn't catch the end of it. I know, you know, we got on here. There was some questionable decisions at the end. I'm pretty sure you stayed up to watch it.
I did. Yeah, I've had this feeling ever since like Muschamp was the coach at South Carolina. I don't get kind of going away from what's got you to that point in the game. Okay, look at it for this example. Washington obviously was winning. They won.
Yeah.
But their last drive of the game, I believe they ran it twice. Yeah. So they ran it twice, and Texas, I'm trying to remember exactly, but Texas only had to use one of their timeouts.
Right.
And then one of the plays, Washington actually just ran the ball, and then the running back got hurt and stopped the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, and it gave Texas a ton of time in the grand scheme of time in sports, especially football, gave them a ton of time.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that play calling. People will question Sarkisian's play calls when they got down in the red zone. But, I mean, my thing is when people do that, what would you have called?
Yeah.
I mean, they did call a couple of dumb plays, but in terms of throwing it in the end zone, they were throwing it to their best jump ball receiver.
Yeah, and there was one, I know, there was a pass that Quinn Ewers, if he throws it about 12 inches a little bit lower, they win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there. The receiver was open. He had an opportunity to try and catch it. It was a throw that sailed on him. You know, if he's able to drop, it wasn't like he was under pressure at the time. He just got to make that throw. Yeah. And, you know, also when it's coming down to the wire like that, the defense knows what you're doing. You're not running powers, you're not running quick slants and stuff like that. You're trying to throw the ball down the field. Yeah. So of course they sit back and, you know, you can call it a dumb play call, but sometimes it's just defenses are sitting back and no one's open. And you're forcing it, which makes it seem like it's dumb, but you're very limited in what you can do in those situations. And that's why they say no team is built to play from behind. Because you just don't have the play calls that are just going to, you know, when you're tied or when you have a lead or, you know, early on in the game, you can do plays that fool the defense. Yeah. But there's not really much you can do to fool the defense when they know, okay, they're down. It's, you know, only a certain amount of time on the clock. Yeah. They have to press the ball downfield. Okay, well, just sit back. If they want to throw these little 5-yard routes and just nickel and dime down the field, that's fine, you know, because they're just going to burn the clock. And obviously it's even harder to do, you know, in the red zone when the field shrinks. So
yeah, I know the first two plays on Texas's drives, Quinn Ewers and their tight end were not on the same page because he was throwing it. And Washington did a good job of getting pressure on Quinn Ewers the whole night. But then they had a big third down play. I mean, a big third down play. And I'm very surprised that DB let the Texas receiver get behind him. But sometimes you just can't beat speed because, I mean, Washington was playing aggressive.
Right.
They weren't doing that prevent defense. And, I mean, it did almost bite them in the butt. But, you know, it's kind of like I said earlier, kind of like catch-22 where it's you don't go away from what you're doing, but doing what you're doing, being aggressive can kind of hurt you in that situation and trying to find a medium ground.
It's the same thing on offense when you're trying to, you know, run the game out. You know, if you've been throwing all game, it's tough to say, okay, we'll keep doing what we've been doing because, if you have incomplete passes, that stops the clock.
Yeah.
He had 38 attempts. When you get into that 40 and 45 attempt range, the percentages of a chance for an interception go up drastically.
Yeah.
When you get closer to 50 attempts, it's just you're more than likely going to end up throwing an interception.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to.
And I mean, credit to Texas because I mean they were down, I believe, 13 points. So I mean, give credit they did come back or try to make a comeback. But I mean, you couldn't ask for two better games.
Right.
Committee definitely got it right in terms of the teams.
And you know, look, Washington. You know, a lot of people would have left them out, but they've been battle tested. You know, with the 2 games with Oregon, and you know they proved that you know they deserve to be there.
Oh yeah, I mean, you like I said, those Michigan and Washington were definitely the locks going into the selection. It was just the 3 and 4.
If you enjoyed this clip, you can watch full episodes on our YouTube page, or you can click the link here.
Or if you want to watch another clip, you can click the link here.